All right, everybody, welcome back to JB's College Hockey Gambling Show. We're back on Zoom, and Quays is out this week, and we have a special guest joining us again for what? Is this the second time, Brecca, that you've been on?
Second time.
And I tell you what, I believe it was the first time JB was gone, and that video was our highest viewed gambling show ever. How does that make you feel?
I don't doubt it.
JB, how does that make you feel? Your show, and you weren't even on it, and it's the highest one we've ever had.
Kind of hurts, but we're gonna have better ones in the future.
Because it had like 60 views, I'm pretty sure. I think it was like it was over Thanksgiving last year, Christmas, one of the two. But
it was in January.
Was it? So it must have been
like second week of January.
Okay, interesting. Well, Ethan's back. He's a shadow man. Ethan, tell us, you've been gambling quite a bit on sports, and you've been winning quite a bit, haven't you?
We've been hitting some fliff parlays, and sometimes your big bets are your best bets, or they're your worst.
True.
So go big or go home.
Yeah, he's racked up. Do you still have that many? 250,000 coin?
I'm down to like 150.
Damn, T-Hawk really hurts you.
Sold the bag.
All right, guys. JB, you are now officially in last place this year. How do you feel about that? Not a good week.
No, not a good week. I went 3-4-1, but I'm gonna start picking it up. I'm coming back for that first place by the end of the year.
Yeah, well, I also went 3-4-1. Not a good week for me. And Quays, he went 6-1-1. He is now officially in the lead. So Ethan, you are picking from the front because these picks are going to count for him. It has to. It has to. So you're picking from the lead, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, should we get into it, boys? So we ready to roll? 4 great games this coming Thanksgiving weekend. For college hockey, it was a great week last week. A lot of fun games. There's going to be great out-of-conference matchups this week, and we have one in conference. You never know. Okay, we start with a team that's been hot, St. Cloud State, hosting Michigan, the Michigan University. St. Cloud set at -1.5, over under set at a high 6.5, JB. Isn't that crazy?
That is very high.
It is. And so St. Cloud, like I said, they've had a great little stretch here. 6 in a row, 3 sweeps in conference, Miami, Western, and then Duluth. While Michigan has had a little rough, been a little shaky in the last 6 games. They only have 1 regulation win. It's been not a great conference start for them. Okay. Now, like me and JB were talking, these teams have only actually met twice in school history, both being in the NCAA tournament. So this will be their first regular season matchup of all time. Kind of crazy. And it sucks it's over Thanksgiving break when nobody's going to be at St. Cloud to watch, except JB. JB will be there. Maybe, right?
I'll be there for Saturday, not Friday.
Okay. And I'll say one of the only other stats I have is that basically Michigan, their goals for average is like basically 5 themselves per game, even though they're 6 and like 4 on the season. Not ideal, but yeah. So who should we start with here? Should we have Ethan? You want to take this one away to start us off?
Yes, I will.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, you were just saying the 5 goals per game average. I'm gonna hit that over at 6.5.
Okay, he's ripping it.
I think the game's gonna be fast paced, a lot of goals. And then at the end of the game, I think St. Cloud State will have more goals than Michigan.
Oh, money line St. Cloud?
Yep.
Okay, wow. I tell you what.
I like the home team.
I don't hate those picks. I don't hate them. I think in order for St. Cloud to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to score a lot because I don't see Michigan slowing down that much against St. Cloud's defense. Bassey, he's had some highs and lows. He just hasn't been as rock solid as Castor was, say, last year, or even Bassey was on Saturdays last season as well. So I'm going to take the over 6.52. I just think it's kind of going to be, like you said, a wild, fast-paced game, breaks going each way, and that's kind of what St. Cloud, I feel like, is almost going to have to play to. And I tell you what, St. Cloud's on a 6-0 run. I said this last week. I can't go against them, and it worked out. So I am also taking St. Cloud money line because I think Michigan is going to keep it close. I think it could be like a 5-4 game, kind of like it was against Duluth last Saturday. I think it's going to be a great one, though. And the odds are really, really terrible. It's like -270 for Michigan, +1.5. It's just totally not worth taking that line. You know what I mean? It's just not. And I think money line, these guys are even right now. It was like minus 115 either way, but I'll take SCSU. How about you, JB?
See, I like your guys' or I like one of your guys' pick. I like the St. Cloud money line.
Yeah?
I think the boys are still going to be buzzing after having 6 wins in a row now.
Yeah. And did you
But
see they teased the little New Jerseys today?
they did. But I think it's going to be like Duluth versus St. Cloud on Friday. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think St. Cloud's defense is actually going to show up. Bassey's going to play fantastic. I'm taking the under 6.5 for this game.
Okay. Interesting. So we're all taking an SCSU win here. They're going to stay hot, and the over-under is going to be shifty. It's going to be a shifty one. Okay. Next, we head to a Big Ten battle where Michigan State heads to Minnesota. Minnesota minus 1.5. Over-under again set at a high 6.5. Now, I tell you what, Michigan State, I think they've blown everybody's expectations that I'm out of the water so far this year. Last week, they swept number 1 Wisconsin at home, Michigan State at home. So just an absolutely great weekend for them. I think they're 10-3-1 in the season, in control of the Big Ten Conference right now. And Wisconsin, they've been good. It's just last weekend was a little hiccup. Or Wisconsin, geez, Minnesota, I mean. They had a little hiccup at home against Notre Dame. They lost Friday night. So we'll see. We'll see. A little split at home. Not that nice. But I tell you what, this series, dating back 14 games, back to 2020, Minnesota is 14-0 against Michigan State. How does that sound, Brecca? 14-0.
Sounds like they beat their asses a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you're not wrong. And in the last 10 years, dating back to 2014, Michigan State has only won 7 times out of the 38 games played. So Minnesota, well, and there's a couple ties in there. So Minnesota's basically won like 30 games while they've won 7. So not a great track record here over the last decade for Michigan State. JB, is this where the tables turn?
You know, streaks are meant to be broken,
Okay.
but not this Friday.
Oh,
I'm taking Minnesota money line in this game. They're gonna go for their 15th win in a row. But I see this game being low scoring, like kind of Wisco maxing out around 6. I don't see them breaking 7 goals or more for this series on Friday night.
okay. So no streaks broken Friday night. Ethan, how do you feel about that one?
I feel the same way. I feel like
Oh,
the Minnesota Golden Gophers will dominate that game. And, Michigan State's coming off a real high after sweeping the number 1 team in the country. I think they just go out and go pretty flat for this weekend. And then I'm also gonna go with the over for that game. Just looking at games last year and years past, they've always been typically higher scoring games. So I'm leaning the over of 6.5.
yeah, another high over. And I tell you what, Ethan, just looking at your name screen popped up here. You know what I think I'm going to do for the video?
What are you gonna do?
Every time your thing pops up, I'm going to screenshot your Fliff character, your little avatar, and put it just in the middle of the screen.
Yeah,
You like that?
that'd be a good idea.
Okay. I tell you what, I actually like the under in this one. I think these are two of the best. I don't want to. I mean, the Big Ten actually has a lot of goalies. With you got Bichel at Notre Dame, McClellan has been pretty good at Wisconsin this year. And close and Augustine in this one. I mean, they played pretty good last week. I think the goaltending here, even though it's I mean, both these teams know how to score. I just think I don't know, 6.5 is just a little too much for me. I'm sticking with that under. If it was 6, I think I would have taken the over, but 6.5, man, I just feel comfortable taking the under, I guess. A little more comfortable. And then actually I'm gonna take, unlike you guys, I'm gonna take MSU plus 1.5. Whether they have won or not this season, they've known how to keep games really close. Against, I believe it was Penn State when they lost in technically the shootout, I guess. Penn State came back. Man, the last few weeks they've been a lot of tight ones. And when they haven't been, they've been winning. So I'm taking them. I think they should be able to hold up against the Gophers. The Gophers have been in a slump, man. I don't know the last sweep they've had because they got swept by Wisconsin at home. Then they played Michigan where they split. and then they split with Notre Dame. So rough stretch for the Gophers here. Their revenge tour isn't going so well, is it, JB?
No, their last sweep was St. Thomas.
That was what, the second week of October?
Yes.
Yeah. So over a month from the Gophers the last time they've had a sweep. Not a good look. Not a good look. Okay. Next, another out of conference matchup. Boston College heads to Notre Dame. BC minus 1.5, over under set at 5.5. We dropped a whole point down to 5.5, which is kind of crazy. Looking back at the last couple of weeks here, BC great sweep at over UConn last week after a little troublesome spell when they headed up to Maine. They lost the first one outright and barely squeaked out a shootout victory in game 2. So a team that was ranked number 1, kind of shaky, although they had a good week last week. And then Notre Dame, I don't know, in my opinion, even though I'm a Dame fan, you know that. You know that. You guys know that. They started 7-4-2. I would have never have guessed that that's how they'd start. I mean, they've had a good win over BU. I mean, like I said last week, a split in Minnesota. I wouldn't have picked that. I don't know, actually. Do we pick that on the show? I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. Not this show, the podcast, shout out podcast. I don't know. And then they swept Ohio the week before that. So, yeah, I don't know. The only other stat I have a stat for you guys. It's an over-under stat, okay? I don't know what you guys are choosing, but maybe this will change it. Over the last 6 games, 4 of those games have had 7 or more goals in this series dating back to 2017. So they've only played 6 games since then, but 4 of them have had 7 or more goals. JB, does that change your mind at all? And what are you taking in this one?
Looking at like their history within like the past 10 seasons, they kind of like have a little streak. So like BC
it's like back and
wins,
forth. Yeah, it's like 2-2
yeah,
kind of thing.
which is kind of hard when I'm taking my pick. But I think I'm gonna go with Notre Dame on this one.
Straight flat outs.
Money line, straight flat outs.
Okay.
And looking at like their previous games too, and like the goals scored, I'm gonna go the over 5.5 for this game.
No bait over.
I don't think this one's a bait over.
No, I don't either. I mean, like I said, just my stat alone changed my mind. I mean, I was like, okay, I'll take it. 5.5. After seeing those 6.5s, just like you kind of have to take it, And like you said, I'm gonna take Dame money line. I think at home they should be able to get the job done. They'll ride a little momentum after last week and cruise over the Eagles Friday night. JB, how about you? Or geez, Ethan, how about you? EB.
So I think we're all gonna ride the Notre Dame money line. I feel that, Notre Dame being at home, just
Mm-hmm.
looking at their record wise, they have a 6-2 home record compared
Oh,
to a 1-2-2 away. So I just think that Notre Dame gets it done at home. And I'm actually gonna go with the under 5.5.
oh,
I just feel that it's gonna be a gritty game that's gonna come down to a goal scored in the third. So I'm gonna guess that they score under 5.5 goals.
okay. Kind of rode the Dame wagon with us, but not the goal wagon. Some might say. Okay. Heading into our last matchup, another out of conference game. Providence heading down south and west to Mullet Arena ASU. Providence minus 1.5. Over under again, set at a lower 5.5. So yeah, I tell you what, both of these teams are having pretty darn good starts to the season, except last week when Providence gave up 2 games against UMass for the weekend. I don't know. This could be the downfall of Providence. They love to start off hot and then just absolutely crash and burn as the season goes on. So could this be the start of that? It's happened the last 2 years. I don't know. And these 2 teams, they've only had one ever head-to-head matchup, which was in 2017. I've screwed up that date twice now. In Pittsburgh, PPG Paints Arena, where the Pengs play. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Because I guess there was a 3 Rivers Classic, some tournament or something. And Providence dominated that 6-0. Okay. But I tell you what, guys, this year we picked some good ones, JB. ASU Denver. ASU was able to win that one overtime, 6-5. They've beaten some good teams. They absolutely crushed Anchorage last weekend. So what's going to happen here? I tell you what, this, JB, is the bait over. I am taking the under 5.5. a lot of Providence games I've watched, there's just not a lot of scoring. And if I know anything about ASU, especially like the games versus Stonehill, right? Like what Ryan loved to chirp about, ASU loves to play down or up to their opponents. It's like if they're playing Denver, they're going to go out and score 6 goals. If they're playing Stonehill, they're going to almost lose and play terrible just like that. Stonehill, by the way, is like 11 on the year. I think they're the only D1 team without a win. Shout out Stonehill. But yeah, I'm taking the under. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. And I tell you what, I would have loved to take ASU plus 1.5. But again, I think that it was like minus 270. So I'm going to stick with ASU money line. I think they're going to be able to get the job done. Mullet Arena, Friday night. Sun Devil fans, rocket. Rock the stadium. I'm not calling them Rockets. Okay, not to get that confused. JB, I'm going to quit talking. Actually, no, Ethan, we're going to end it JB's show.
All right, well, I'm actually going to go with the over here, the over 5.5.
Okay.
I just feel like it's going to be a high scoring affair from the two teams. And I believe that Providence will come out victorious after bashing Arizona State's teeth in. So I'm going to go with Providence money line and then the over 5.5.
Okay. JB, how are you feeling to end this out here?
I don't know. Nate, wait, what was your money line?
I did ASU money line.
ASU money line?
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I'm taking
Okay.
ASU money line too. This is a new. I don't know. ASU's kind of surprised me this year. I wouldn't not have expected them to be 9-2-1 at this point in the
Neither
season.
would I.
They're playing great hockey right now. So I'm also taking the over 5.5 for this game. I think this game kind of reminds me of ASU Denver, where I thought Denver was going to go out there, kill ASU, but Arizona found a way to win. I think that's going to happen this game.
Okay. It's going to be an interesting week. A lot of interesting matchups. A lot we haven't seen before, out of conference, kind of weird teams here and there. Boom, boom. But it's going to be fun. A lot of fun stuff to watch. Ethan, you have anything to say for joining us before we end it here?
Take my bets and you'll win.
Yeah, you're a winner. JB, how about you?
Let's make some money this weekend.
Okay.
Hit that like button and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.